Hello and welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2024 Top 37 countdown. It's place number 7, Spain, Nebulossa, Zorra. Please do click the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, like, share and comment below. You'll see a link to the national final performance video in the description, as well as a link to my blog post. Now, Spain is my penultimate Big Five country in my countdown this year, and it's 2 years in a row that Spain has made my personal top 10. Sadly, that didn't help last year's entry in terms of their results, because Blanca Paloma, who did very well with the juries in the grand final, came last in the televote with just 5 points. Now, Spain have the second longest continuous participation at the contest, after the United Kingdom, but they're also the country with the longest gap between victories. Now, of course, I know there are some countries that have yet to win Eurovision and they've been in a long time, but in terms of just the gap between victories is the largest for Spain. It is, their last win was in 1969, which is now 55 years ago. And that is older than me. And it's almost 30 years, in fact, since they got their last runners-up spot, which was in 1995. They, of course, famously came third in 2022 with Chanel and Slow Mo. So can Nebulossa build on that recent success? Now, Nebulossa are a duo who also happen to be a married couple. They're made up of singer Maria Mary Bass and keyboardist and producer Mark de Sousa. Now, they've been married over 20 years, they've got a couple of children, and they formed the electro-pop group Nebulossa back in 2018, I think when Mary had turned 50 and decided she wanted to do something a bit different in her life, which is great. Don't worry, I will not be becoming a singer when I turn 50 in a few years' time. Now, I think they originally had a third member, a trio, because when they entered the pre-selection for the San Marino national selection last year, but they didn't get past the audition phase. And this, of course, is where the amusing thing is there. We had Megara was a Spanish band representing San Marino this year, because they didn't get through they didn't get the chance of Benidorm Fest. But Nebulossa, they were shortlisted for Benidorm Fest. They got through the semi-finals and then were successful in the final. They won the televote, they won the demoscopic jury or demoscopic vote, and they tied for first place with the expert jury. So it was a very convincing win for Nebulossa. And Zorra is a really engaging song. It is electro-pop. It's very, there's a lot of nice 80s feel in that song, which obviously as 80s electro-pop is something I love. It has a really great message. Admittedly, knowing Spanish does help on this account. But Mary tackles head-on kind of the ageism and misogyny that are applied to older women who still want to have a bit of fun and do what they want to do. Older men get called Zorro, and that translates as fox. Of course, we use fox, all that old fox, in English as well. And you can get the idea that it has a positive or approving insinuation. Women of a certain age, on the other hand, are called Zorra, the title of the song, which translates as vixen, but it's used in Spanish as a pejorative, so as bitch or slut. The song tackles this head-on, using it as an empowering term, reappropriating the slur and criticising society that views women negatively. Now, this really seemed to chime so well with the Spanish fandom and the kind of the love and support given to Mary in the national final, which performance, if you watch the video, you really need to watch it to appreciate that. Huge crowd appreciation and participation as well, which I think is a really key thing. Now, obviously, most of that crowd in Benidorm Fest are gay men, but the song and the artist, the message, all connect so much and so well with that particular audience. But it also has chimed with the wider fandom as well. It's doing well in all fan polls, and also in the Eurovision scoreboard. It's really high up in the Eurovision scoreboard. as well, and has remained there the whole time it's been since its release. Now, I think it's not linked to in the description, but I also you might want to take a look at the official music video, which I normally provide as the link in these reviews, but I thought with this particular one, I thought the national final performance was more useful to watch. But the official music video is also worth a watch because it references transgender singer and politician Manuela Trasobares, who she had been called Zorra in her time, with all the negative connotations. And the music video kind of references or recreates an iconic moment from the 1990s where she threw a glass on the floor during a talk show while calling for women's liberation. So that is something that is sort of referenced in there. It's quite a moment. Now, I don't think that Spanish fans this year seem that bothered about where this actually places at the contest. I think they're just really happy that they have a song that they really enjoy and love, and they love the band and they love the message. And they've really chosen it for themselves. I don't think they're that concerned about how it will do or have that high expectations. But it has been nice to see how this has been well received by the other Eurovision fans. In the Euro jury, with the jury side, it did fare better than I expected with the juries. It actually came something like 17th with the juries out of 37 there, which is a lot better than I was expecting. However, I don't want to be too much of a party pooper for a song that I really enjoy, the performance I really enjoy, but there is a not insignificant chance that this may finish bottom 5 or even last in the grand final. Betting odds at the moment for who finishes last, because they have now struck up, they always have. I mean, obviously they often have the Germany, UK and Spain are often appear in that kind of odds. And I think of the 3 big 5 countries that often appeared towards the end, I think actually this year it could be Spain that might be the one, because I think Germany may do better in juries than we think, and I think UK will probably pick up both some jury and televote. I do think I think this may struggle to pick up jury points. The vocals are not super strong, and I do wonder, from a televote perspective, will it connect with the non-Spanish speaking Saturday night watching casuals, as I might call them, around Europe, who do make up the vast majority of the voting public. It isn't people like me or quite probably you as well, who are in the minority quite often in terms of actual voting on the night. Now, I hope the crowd in Sweden get behind this. I think there will be enough Spanish fans that will be there to do that. I suspect the UK fans will be very supportive as well. They might not know the verses, but at least they can shout Zorra loudly. And I think that kind of really lifts the performance. It lifts her as well in giving that performance. And then maybe that connection might give it a bit of more of a boost in the final, and a bit more of a boost, particularly when it comes to things like the televote as well. But what do you think? How do you think it will do? And do you like the song overall? Do let me know, as always, in the comments, and join me again soon. Take care.